Hey guys, it's Alex Serpentine back again with another video on my series about the roles or soul types in Michael teachings. This video is about the warrior. If you don't know about what your role is yet, you can take my test that's in the description of this video, which will help you determine your primary role as well as your secondary and tertiary roles. So basically these roles are archetypes are kind of like vehicles of consciousness that we take on for our whole reincarnational cycle as we're going through different lessons in our reincarnational cycle. So they're the primary role and like personality type characteristics that we maintain for the whole time. It's our particular focus basically, and they each have different strengths and weaknesses, which I'll go into. And in this video, I'll also be talking about how the roles relate to different systems like Myers-Briggs, Enneagram, astrology, and aura colors, and how they all correlate together. So it'll be very interesting to get into. So let's just get into it. So the warrior, overview of the warrior. The warrior is driven by a desire to protect, achieve, and assert their will. They focus on taking action, overcoming challenges, and achieving goals. They're motivated by a strong sense of duty, discipline, and perseverance. The archetypal energy of the warrior, so that they represent the archetype of the protector, champion, and enforcer. They embody qualities of courage, strength, and determination. They're energized by competition, challenges, and the pursuit of victory. So in the population, they're about 17% of the global population. They're the least ordinal of the ordinal types, so they are focused more on one-on-ones, but they are also have a quality of leadership about them sometimes too. Um, the U.S. is actually what we could call a warrior culture. We really emphasize warrior values, and there's actually a lot more warriors in our population than like servers probably even. So even though 25% of the population are servers and 17% are warriors, we probably have more like 30% warriors in the U.S. population. And something interesting that's happening in our modern times is that a lot of warriors are incarnating into female bodies in modern times instead of male bodies. So they're helping to bring more of the masculine driven energy to the female experience. So it's interesting. There's actually servers and artisans are mostly male today, and warriors are more female, are taking female bodies. So they're kind of flipping it around from the stereotypical um, alignment. So that's interesting. The primary motivations of warriors is that they're driven to protect and defend others. They seek to achieve goals and overcome obstacles. They're motivated by competition, discipline, and a sense of duty. Their key traits are they're strong and determined and action oriented, courageous and assertive in pursuing objectives, loyal and committed to causes and people they care about, and they're practical, focused, and good at strategizing. The positive pole for warriors in their positive manifestation, it's called persuasion, where they use strength and determination to motivate and influence others constructively. And the negative pole is coercion, where they force or pressure others into action, often disregarding their autonomy. The strengths of the warrior is that they're highly disciplined and focused, excels in achieving goals. They have strong leadership qualities and decision-making skills. They're courageous and willing to face challenges head on. They're resilient and persistent with a strong work ethic. Some of their challenges is that they can be overly aggressive or confrontational. They struggle with sensitivity and empathy in relationships. They may resist change or flexibility, preferring control. So some of the things they can work on to grow, some of the growth focus, is to develop empathy, practicing active listening to understand others' perspectives. balancing their assertiveness by combining strength with diplomacy to avoid unnecessary conflicts, and cultivating patience, learning to be flexible and adapt to changing circumstances. Their spiritual path: practice mindfulness, cultivate inner peace through meditation and reflection, channel strength for good, using determination to support just and meaningful causes, develop compassion, engage in activities that foster empathy and understanding, embrace humility, recognizing the value of collaboration and shared leadership, balance action with stillness, integrate quiet reflection into daily routines. Their interaction style is that they're direct and assertive, they communicate clearly and with confidence, they're protective, they act as a guardian, prioritizing safety and security for loved ones. They're loyal and committed, showing strong dedication to relationships and commitments. They're action oriented, preferring to solve problems quickly and efficiently. And they may be blunt, tending to be straightforward, sometimes lacking tact. So their compatibility with other roles. Here's a little bit of notes on each and what the dynamic is like. Whether with servers, they might be kind of insensitive to server inspiration and their pliability. They just don't know how to relate to it, and they don't really value inspiration as much. They're more of this action-oriented energy. So there might be some difficulties there, but it's still possible to make work. With artisans, there's maximum attraction to each other, but also the maximum misunderstanding because they're very different. Artisans are about expression, warriors are about action, and their energy is really different. But they're actually very attracted to those differences. With other warriors, there would be a similar drive, action-oriented drive, but there's potential clashes. They might both be blunt and intense, but because they're both warriors, they know how to deal with that. When they're with scholars, it's the most compatible role for warriors as the scholar. Because warriors bring the practicality, and it enhances the scholar's knowledge. So knowledge with practical, action-oriented approach really is a great dynamic to have. When warriors are with sages, warriors bring directness to the sages' communication, helps ground them and make them more action oriented. With the priest, the warrior strength supports the priest vision, so they can work well. And they're actually really work well with kings. They're highly compatible with kings because their roles are both action oriented. So when we're talking about soul ages, which are the different stages that we go through in our reincarnation cycle, where we're learning different lessons, the expression of the role for warrior is going to be a little bit different. In the infant soul age, which is the focus on survival, they protect their immediate family and they just focus on survival. Baby soul age, focus on structure. They defend traditions and follow rules strictly. In the young soul, achievement focus. They pursue success and status, being highly competitive. In the mature soul age, which is a relationship focus, they balance ambition with emotional understanding, defending deeper values. And in the old soul age, which is a focus on context, they focus on wise leadership and they fight for justice and higher causes. So in working career, they're typically attracted to these fields. They really like military and law enforcement. They thrive in roles that involve protection and discipline. Leadership and management is really big. They excel in positions of authority and decision making. They like sports and athletics, driven by competition and physical challenges. They really like entrepreneurship, pursuing goals with determination and resilience. And they like emergency services, where they perform well in high pressure, action oriented environments. In family and community, they play a protective role, acting as a guardian, ensuring safety and stability. They're providers, taking responsibility for meeting family needs and goals. They're problem solvers, tackling challenges directly, providing practical solutions. They're community leaders, often stepping up into leadership roles within the community. and they have a disciplined approach, instilling values of hard work and responsibility in family. In leadership, they're direct and decisive, taking charge with confidence and clarity. They're goal oriented, focusing on achieving objectives and driving results. They're protective leaders, prioritizing team safety and well being. They're motivational, inspiring others through strength and determination. And they're hands on, leading by example, actively involved in tasks. So, one historical example of the warrior is Joan of Arc, who led French forces in battle with courage and determination. She inspired others with her strong sense of purpose and conviction, and she demonstrated fearlessness and resilience in the face of adversity. A fictional example is Han Solo from Star Wars. He's fearless and action oriented, often taking charge in dangerous situations. He's loyal to his friends, fights to protect those he cares about, and he's skilled in combat and strategy, relying on quick thinking and bravery. Some other warriors are Jessica Alba, Bono, Johnny Depp, Eminem, Carrie Fisher, Harrison Ford, George Gurdjieff, Adolf Hitler, Michael Jordan, Maynard James Keenan, Joe Rogan, and Mike Tyson. So in the Michael teachings, we actually don't just have this one role. We have a primary role, which is our role. But we also have some secondary characteristics of the other roles. We can have like secondary and tertiary mainly. So we're a mix of different qualities of the different roles, and so we will each have a unique expression with these combinations. So if you're a warrior mainly, you might have one of these as a secondary influence. So this is how it manifests. As warrior servers, it adds nurturing qualities. They protect and serve with a caring approach. For warrior artisan, they infuse creativity into strategy using innovative tactics and solutions. For warrior scholar, they enhance analytical skills, approaching challenges with knowledge and planning. For warrior sage, they combine assertiveness with charisma, leading through motivation and storytelling. Warrior priest guides with purpose, fights for spiritual or moral causes. And warrior king strengthens leadership, combining discipline with authoritative decision making. So now we'll get into some of the other personality type systems and how they correlate with the Michael teachings roles. The likely cognitive functions for the warrior are extroverted sensing, which responds quickly to immediate needs, excels in action-oriented environments. So it's really being plugged into the present moment and what's going on in the present. Extroverted thinking is also big, which is focused on efficiency, organization, and achieving goals. And since warriors are very goal-oriented, they'll probably really favor extroverted thinking. They might also like introverted sensing, which values tradition, stability, and practical knowledge. It's the other sensing function. They also might like introverted thinking, strategizing logically and efficiently for decisive action. So basically, the ST, you know, characteristics are big for warriors. If we're looking into the likely MBTI types for them, you can see these are all STs except for the ENTJ. ESTP, which is extroverted sensing and introverted thinking, is action oriented, adaptable, thrives in dynamic settings. ISTP, which is introverted thinking and extroverted sensing, independent, resourceful, skilled in hands on problem solving. ISTJ, which is introverted sensing and extroverted thinking, reliable, disciplined, focused on duty. ESTJ, which is extroverted, introverted sensing second, extroverted thinking first, practical, organized, decisive leader. And they also might be an ENTJ, which is using extroverted thinking and introverted intuition, strategic, goal oriented, strong leadership. So what you might notice is like these all have thinking functions. So they're really big on the thinking, especially the sensing too. A lot of them are sensing oriented. This doesn't mean that you will be one of these types for sure. If you're a warrior, like your soul age actually affects this a little bit too. Like you could be a warrior that's an INFP, for example, like especially if you're in like the mature soul age. So there's a lot of possibilities here, but these are the most likely ones that correlate with the warrior archetypally. So the likely Enneagram types for the warrior are type 8, the strongest, which is the challenger. They're assertive, protective, and driven by a need for control and leadership. Type 3 is also big, the achiever, focused on success, recognition, and accomplishing goals. Type 6, the loyalist, correlates pretty well too. Committed, reliable, and values security and support. And type 1, the reformer, is disciplined, principled, with a strong sense of duty and justice. All these fit with the warrior pretty strongly. Likely zodiac signs for the warrior: Aries, which is the fire sign. One of Mars' signs, which is Mars. The planet Mars is probably the biggest fit for the warrior. Aries are bold, courageous, and action-oriented natural leaders. Scorpio, which is the water sign, but it's also ruled by Mars, is intense, determined, and strategic, focused on power and control. Capricorn also fits. They're disciplined, responsible, and ambitious, driven to achieve. That's big for warriors. And Leo can sometimes fit too. They're confident, assertive, and protective, seeking to lead and inspire. If you want to see what your zodiac signs are, I would look at your rising sign, moon sign, and sun sign in Vedic astrology, because Vedic astrology is aligned with the stars, the constellations. It's astronomically accurate to today, while Western astrology was astronomically accurate when it was created 2,000 years ago, but it's no longer astronomically accurate. So you won't get your actual your sun sign, moon sign, rising sign accurately through Western astrology. Just a note on that. So the likely aura colors from Pam Osley's aura color system that she developed. There's a few different ones that align with the warrior. Red is the most stereotypically fitting one, archetypally. It's energetic, assertive, and action-oriented, driven by strength and power. Yellow can sometimes fit because it's one of the physical energy aura types. Determined, focused, and enjoys dynamic, challenging environments. Green is actually one of the mental auras, but it really fits with the warrior. Practical, discipline, and value stability and order. And orange is another one that fits pretty well. That thrives on adventure and adrenaline, drawn to physical challenges. So here are some reflective questions you can ask yourself to figure out if you're a warrior. If you say yes to all these, you're probably a warrior or have some warrior secondary influences of some kind. Do you feel a strong drive to protect and defend others? Are you naturally assertive and comfortable taking charge? Do you thrive in competitive or challenging environments? When handling conflicts or confrontations, are you direct and solution focused? Do you find fulfillment in achieving goals and overcoming obstacles? If you say yes to all these, you might be a warrior. And if you want to know for sure, like you can take my roles test that's in the description of this video to figure out your primary, secondary, tertiary roles. So in summary for the warrior is focused on protection, action, and achieving goals. They're courageous, disciplined, and have strong leadership qualities. Their challenges are that they can be overly aggressive, needs to balance assertiveness with empathy. Their growth focus is to develop emotional intelligence, practice patience, and embrace flexibility. And the spiritual path for the warrior is to use strength for just causes, balancing action with mindfulness. So that's everything I wanted to say for the warrior. If you want to learn some more about the roles, I would recommend this book, Seven Personality Types by Elizabeth Puttick. It goes into detail on each of the 7 roles and also talks about combinations with other roles and relationships with the other roles. So it's the primary book I would recommend to really understand the roles. So like I said, you can take my test in my description if you want to learn more and figure out your role. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I have other videos for each of the roles with the same structure here. So you can go check that out. So if you like this content, please like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.